Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Violet Rain.
Everyone, welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Violet Rain, and I'm so excited for my guest today. I would love to introduce you to Anthony Mikolojeski. He's known as the Asheville Medium. He resides in the western mountains of North Carolina and has been working professionally as a medium for 13 years. He has studied advanced mediumship at the prestigious Arthur Findlay College in England. He studied exclusively with Mavis Pittilla in Lilydale, which is a spiritualist camp, Tony Stockwell, and finished his mediumship mentorship with James Van Praagh. Anthony teaches psychic classes and various forms of mediumship across the United States and also Canada. He does platform mediumship in front of large audiences and small private groups. He is also an animal communicator, spiritual animal communicator. Anthony has also intensely studied shamanism for over 4 years, and he truly loves what he does, knowing he's making a difference in people's lives one by one, feeling the love, creating the healing, comfort, and joy for his clients and students. We're so excited to have him, and we're also hosting him at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts in Denver, Colorado in August, and so we're glad to have him on the show. I actually met Anthony in Lilydale last summer. He was teaching a whole week class, and I was so impressed, and those of you that know me, it is hard to impress me as a teacher. Because I've taught for over 40 years, I really look for those teachers that have the right style and the right connection with their classes. And Anthony has that. So I'm excited to have him at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts in August. So welcome, Anthony.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Violet. What an honor. That's very great, very kind words. Thank you so much. You know, I love what I do, and I try to, just do the best I can. I'm always keeping myself very humble with spirit. And I love all forms of psychic development and mediumship. And so I teach, and I'm excited to come out to Colorado and join you all.
I think it's very exciting. I've had my center for 8 years, and for 8 years, I have really tried to pull in some mediumship classes because I'm a medium naturally myself. I have been all my life, but I've never taken like formal training in that area. It's why I don't offer it as a service, but it pops in when I'm working. But I have not been able to get somebody to regularly come and teach. And in Denver, we have teachers here that teach mediumship in different styles and different ways, but I've never been able to get somebody at my center. And I have lots of students that are really interested in mediumship and connecting with their loved ones and all that. So I'm excited that you're going to be coming and joining us for a class. And, Anthony's class in August is called Opening the Door to Spirit. So what does that really mean? What can we expect? And who would benefit from attending that weekend, Saturday and Sunday class?
Well, that's a good question. There's two different types of participants or students that come to this class. I try to open the opportunity for people who may not want to become a medium, but want to connect with their loved ones on a personal level and, have the techniques and be able to, know the language of connecting with the spirit world so that they can, possibly, have that opportunity of maybe experiencing this in the class. Personally, in all my classes, I think I've had almost every single student be able to connect with spirit. And I don't pat myself on the back, but that's just what my students tell me. And on the second day, they're shocked that they're able to do it. Now, mediumship, of course, is an unfolding experience, and it takes time and patience to unfold it for you to develop the expertise to be, I think where I'm at. It takes years of your personal life unfolding, plus your professional life as a medium unfolding at the same time. So you're continuously learning about yourself. So even as a professional, I'm always learning about spirit. They're always teaching me new ways of communicating. They give me different snippets, or they give me different modalities um, to be able to interpret what they're trying to say. And that's what I love so much about mediumship, is that, it's ever changing. It's never the same. And the reading is not the same for every single person. And it's just such an individual thing. And, really mediumship is about healing. That's the main purpose of healing, is giving that client comfort, closure, feeling the love and the healing, and then also the joy and laughter. I try to bring in uplifting experiences and evidence of information in my readings. And I teach my students to bring that in, so that it's not just all the seriousness of maybe a trauma of someone passing and the hardship of that, but we give the peace and the laughter and the joy and the knowledge to know that they're in a good place, right? So yeah, the students will learn how to connect with their loved ones personally, which will be great. And then those students who are, maybe have always wanted to be interested in going into mediumship, or maybe they've taken some psychic classes along the way, and now, or maybe, previous mediumship classes. But I teach how to work within, and work within and out. Some mediums teach from out going in. I do the opposite. So I build my energy personally. I expand my auric field, my white light. I put out my love, my best intentions of when I'm working with spirit, and protection, so we don't have to worry about, working with something that we don't want to work with. And I've never had ever any problems working with the spirit world, because my intentions are of the highest, and I'm working with the highest, people in spirit, of white light, and connected to God's source, or infinite intelligence, or if infinite consciousness. So it's the highest realm to work with. So that is always important. The students will learn the ethics of mediumship, how to be professional, what not to do, what to do. They'll understand the language of how to communicate with spirit, and how to prepare themselves to work before they even begin this. So it'll start with breath work, grounding, protection, building your energy to work. And amazing enough, the students will understand that each person works individually. You'll have to understand your chakras and how they relate to the clairs, meaning, your clairvoyance, where you're able to see visions or snippets or pictures, or maybe your clairaudience, where you're hearing spirit or hearing sounds. Your claircognizance, your inner knowing, this gut feeling, your clairsentience, with knowing your feelings when you're stuck in your mediumship, and how to get out of that stuck feeling so that you get the flow of connection. So there's a lot to learn, but everybody works individually. We're not robots. And some people or some students have, other gifts between each other. So, one student will have understanding of how to work with the clairvoyance, where another student may not have clairvoyance and be clairaudience and clairsentient. So we all work differently. So I just want to put that out there. As a medium, I never thought before, I'm a late bloomer. Let me go back just a bit. I'm jumping ahead of myself. I never, intended to be a medium in my life. I worked in the hair industry for 45 years. And, I'm a late bloomer, let's put it that way. But Spirit has been knocking on my door and getting my attention for many, many years. So, it wasn't until I started taking classes that I started realizing that, wow, like I could really do this. I can't even believe this. And it was because the medium told me, like you're a medium and you can do this. And so I say out to all of you who may want to take my class. It's a two day course. It's from 9:30 to 5 o'clock. And of course, we'll have a lunch. Right, Violet. We'll have a lunch. Right, we got to eat.
Yes.
We got to eat.
I gotta let you have some nourishment. Yes.
Yes. And so, yes, it's a long day, but we're going to have fun with it. It's going to, of course, be lots of learning, but you'll be engaging exercises in the classes with other students and maybe even with myself. I might even participate with you all in working with you on a personal level. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited to come out to Colorado.
I love that. I love that. We also talked about this week of you doing a demonstration on Friday night. So explain to us what that would look like if we came on Friday night to one of your demonstrations.
Right. So Friday will be the night before my class. So if you want to come out and, check me out and see how I work, I get out in front of, small groups and audiences. And what we do as mediums is we work the stage analytically and while working with spirit. So we engage with the audience. I typically work indirect, so I wait for the spirit to drop in, and then I give usually 6 or 7 pieces of very specific evidence, with understanding the a person, how they pass, their personality, their description. I will bring up maybe a few experiences that you had shared together as a family or individually. And usually I get hands up by that time. And what I'll usually do too is I try to bring evidence of that person in spirit, your loved one there. And I'll ask them, I'll say, well, tell me of a recent experience that your loved one may have experienced in the last week or two, which would provide evidence that you were there at that time with them. And they will do it. And what that does is it gives you this comfort and understanding that the spirit world is not only, you don't have your memories of that loved one in the past, but that they're still part of your life right now. And that, the continuation of life consciously is still existing in the spirit world. And that's the reason why we do mediumship, is to prove the continuous life existence after we transition from the earth phase and then going into the spirit world.
I love that. I love that. You're also talking about having one-on-one private sessions with individuals while you're here. So we'll be offering that as well.
Yeah, before we go into that, I just want to talk a little bit more about the platform. So, people will be sitting in the audience. I will probably spend about, 4 to 5 minutes with each person. Not every person in the audience will have a reading. I kind of do it very randomly. I will try to cover, as many people in the room as possible. The event will probably be about 90 minutes, so it's about an hour and a half total. That gives me a lot of time to really get quite a few people. For those who don't get get a message, what's really nice is there's a collective understanding that you can relate to in your own life from somebody else's message. And what that does is that message that I'm giving to that one particular person may really relate to your same situation that you've experienced with maybe the loss of a loved one. It's kind of a trickle effect where it gives comfort to more than one person. So I just want you to understand that that's the whole purpose of us, as mediums being on the platform, But then there's also the healing message, because they just don't come in to say hello. They come in to give you a healing message that's pertinent to your life currently. And that provides comfort, it provides healing, and you feel that love connection with that loved one, for those few minutes of that connection, which is really quite special.
I love that.
So yeah, so that's really what platform mediumship is about. And then you also get a chance to see how I work, right? So it's a great opportunity in a lot of different ways.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you're coming in to spend time with us. I'm really, really excited about that coming in. What would you tell somebody? Because I can feel some people, I'm afraid that I can't do this. I'm afraid that I won't be able to connect. I'm afraid that I won't do that. Talk to us a little bit about, creating that space for people, because I know you hold space for others to be able to do this work, and just share a little bit that can give people confidence that it'll be okay, that they don't have to worry about, this class or how they do or all of that, because I think that's important as well.
Well, it certainly is. Well, first of all, we're in a safe space, because I start off the class with a nice prayer, and that opens me up in how I work and sets intention for the class. But we're there to learn, but we're also there to have a good time as well, because working with spirit is exhilarating. There's an energy that builds up within you that kind of gives you a little natural high when you're connecting with spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So that feeling is, it kind of builds up. I don't know how to explain it more than that. But it's very special. It gets you a little nervous. And I use that nervousness whenever even right now, I have the nervousness because I'm already connecting somewhat with spirit now. And so they know, and I'm building my nervousness up. So I use that in my solar plexus to build my energy and, use it positively. And, but, it's really, for each student, it's so different. I would say, to someone who's hesitant, listen, hey, just join us, see how it unfolds. And usually there's surprises. Like, there's these aha moments that I've had many students have, that some of them very analytical. They said, oh, I'm a very analytical person and I can't even meditate. And listen, you're going to learn how to connect with spirit before you leave here today. And they do. So it's, there's just kind of like this, wow, like I cannot believe. And it changes their life, because what happens is they're able to get centered and more grounded. They understand the breath work. And even that alone gives you more focus on how you approach your day-to-day routine, regardless if you're going to do mediumship or connect with spirit. It sets the intention of keeping you focused, keeping you more balanced and more in check in your emotions. There's a lot that goes with it, a lot of learning about yourself during the class.
I love that. I love that. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that, I tell my students, spirit wants this high vibrational laughter and joy and play when you're working with them as well. And that energy, that vibration helps us connect easier, because then we're not in our head worrying, right? We're at this
Right.
higher elevation. So
Right.
having fun and play with it is important.
It is. You're absolutely right. I usually start my morning with playing music. If I feel the energy is a little low, like where people get so serious, I tend to, throw some humor in to get people laughing, and that raises the energy. I even do that in my platform mediumship too, where I get sometimes, crowds they're so serious and they're like, oh, the medium is going to pick me, and they get so, I don't know, it's like they bring down the energy because they're so focused on the seriousness of it, and they're worried about something being exposed that, they may not want to have that brought up in a group. So I also want to tell you, in platform mediumship, if I was to ever have a situation where we had someone come through who was not such a great person in your family and maybe had been abusive in some way or form and was just not a happy person, okay? Because we have had those experiences, in life. Now, to let you know why they would come through is because in the spirit world, they have a greater awareness of their behavior. They don't have the ego anymore in spirit. And so that part of them has dissipated. And the reason why they would come through is to ask for forgiveness and say, I'm sorry. And sometimes saying sorry for the first time in their whole life, which is huge, huge, right? Because it provides healing for that person. Now, if it was a very sensitive, an extreme type of situation between this loved one in spirit and the person in the audience, I will say, well, this might have been an abusive situation. I will not go into the details of it because that's personal. The client would know what that's about. The person sitting in the audience, they would know. I don't need to explain it. But the biggest concern is that as a medium, you don't want someone to feel less than, humiliated, saddened that people know that this happened to them as a collective group in an audience. And sometimes even family members sitting next to you don't even know that this took place. So, you have to handle yourself as a medium very seriously. The connecting with spirit is very sacred, and I take it very seriously. But we want it to be an uplifting experience for that person in the audience, and not to make them feel less than. We want to uplift them, and that's the main reason why spirit would come through under those circumstances, is to provide that healing. Okay, so we're never there to embarrass anyone or to make someone feel horrible about themselves in this type of situation. So I just want to give the viewers that comfort that, as a medium, you should never do that,
Right,
and I
right.
don't. I have seen it though. I have
Well,
seen
and
it.
sometimes I know with clients, sometimes somebody will show up, Anthony, and the person's like, I don't even want to hear from them. I don't
That's
want to hear
very true.
anything they have to say. And I understand that too. But what I tell people is this process of healing, this process of forgiveness doesn't mean that you accept what's happened, but it means you let go of the chains that are holding you back, the energy, and you say, okay, I don't want to carry this anymore, and I forgive you, and I forgive what's happened here. It doesn't mean that I accept what happens or that I think it's okay, but I don't want to no longer carry that further into my life. And it's a different perspective when we look at it from that point of view. And when we can heal that. And sometimes I think people have to leave the event or leave the session, and they have to sit with that for a little bit because there's some processing going on for that individual, right?
Yeah, that's
And
a good point. It sure is. You're spot on. And even in my private sessions, and in private sessions, we can get to the juice of what actually happened because it's just me and that other person, and we're in a confidential environment, and personal environment. So that's where we would get more into the depth, description. But in an audience, yeah, we do get those sometimes where the person will say, I don't want to hear from that person. If I get the vibe that I have to honor that, I certainly would honor it and just skip over and go to the next person.
yeah.
And that's how you handle it, because some people really are not ready, and you have to be, respectful to what you're doing and to the people who are coming to support you.
Yeah, you really do. Guess what, Anthony? We've used up
What?
all of our time already. Can you
Oh, we
believe
did?
that? Can you
Oh,
believe that?
oh
Look
my
at that.
gosh. All
We
right. Well,
do
what do
this
you want
every
me?
time.
I know it. Do you want me to okay, so I just want to say I'm going to be offering some one-on-ones readings at Violet Center on Monday. And so if you want to book for that, I'll be doing 60-minute readings. I normally charge $290 for an hour, but because I'm giving everyone a break, and the discount will be for those people coming to me for $250 for the hour. So there'll be a nice break there on the fee. Our platform Mediumship, I think, is going to be $50 a ticket for Friday, and I look forward to seeing everyone there. And if you're interested, you can go to my website, asheville.medium.com. I have other classes that I'm teaching at Lilydale this year. I have a Tap into Your Intuitive Abilities, which is an intro to psychic development, on June 21st of this year, 2025. And then I have Stepping into Your Platform Mediumship, which is a beginner and intermediate class on Sunday, June 22nd. And that's a full day class as well. And then my third class is an intermediate mediumship class at Lilydale called Connecting Deeply with Spirit. And that's on Tuesday, June the 24th. So I'm excited that I'm teaching all these classes, and I have people who travel and come see me, and I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled to come see you.
I'm thrilled that you're coming too. Now, wherever we post this, I'll have links to Lilydale's calendar where he's going to be listed. I'll have Anthony's website where he'll be listing his information. I'll have our website where we'll be posting and listing all these opportunities so that you can connect in. I know Anthony does readings on the phone, so if you just can't wait, you can look at all those services and what he offers. We'll also be putting a link for anyone that's traveling to Denver to see him, kind of airport, hotel, activities in Denver if you want to extend your stay. I have a whole web page that shares all that information so that you can make it a long visit and stay here a little longer if you want to, or you can just travel in to see the events. We have lots of people that travel to Denver to take events and classes with us. So I'll have all of that in the description so that you can connect. Thank you, Anthony, for taking the time to talk to us today. We'll be doing another podcast later on in the year. So we'll chat about more things. Anthony's been on my podcast previously as well. So I'll give all those links. So those of you that are hungry to connect more or know more, I'll have all of that in the description so that you can tap into any or all that you're interested in. Thank you, Anthony, for coming and chatting with me today.
Oh, thank you so much, Violet, for having me. And I'm looking forward to meeting all of you and working with all of you. And we're going to have a good time. And Violet, we're going to have a good time as well. Thank you again. I'm so honored that you've invited me.
Well, my goal is to get him back every year so that we can continue to learn from Anthony and connect with him. So everyone, thank you for listening or watching, whatever platform that you're connecting with us. Please like, comment, and follow us on your favorite platforms. We'd love to hear from you. And I hope you have a sacred and magical day and week. We hope to see you really soon on one of our next shows.
Thank you for joining us. To find out more about Violet, head over to discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. You can also send a personal message to Violet through email, violet@discoveryourspiritualgifts.com. If you loved the show, subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. Until next time, remember, we are meant to have abundant and joyful lives. We hope to see you soon at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts.